Hello, it's me, Bjorn, and welcome back to a new series. Now, I did say when I hit 100 subscribers, I was going to release a new writing project, something that's completely unrelated to anything I've done before. And, well, we did it. Congratulations, guys. So, what am I taking a crack at today? This is another IP, one that is very, very popular, arguably perhaps the most popular IP I've taken on. And that is, of course, the Harry Potter Wizarding World, written by the uncontroversial and well-beloved J.K. Rowling. And today we're going to take the J.K. Rowling challenge, and that challenge is to write a movie script that is better than the Fantastic Beasts 2 script, which should be extremely difficult. I'm going to be fighting an uphill battle to write something that can even touch the graces of J.K. Rowling's immense screenplay writing. And so, as you can see, we're in Texas right now, and that's not quite right for Harry Potter. So, using my magic wand here, we're gonna cast a spell, teleport my ass somewhere foreign. Oh, holy shit, guys, we did it. We are now in London. Very believable effect. I've heard some of you little trolls, saying that I use a green screen. This is magic, dude. It's not a green screen, alright? You're a hater, and we don't appreciate haters here. I've never used a green screen. Take that to the bank. Okay, so what am I doing with the Harry Potter universe? You might be wondering and asking yourself, and wondering perhaps. And I've actually talked about this before a couple times, but I'm going to do a murder mystery set in the Harry Potter universe. Now, I had proposed originally that it was going to be a noir, and while it will have some noir elements, it's actually going to be more like a serial killer drama, something more like Seven or Zodiac. Specifically set in the 1960s. I would have done the 70s, but of course there's some things happening in the Harry Potter lore in the 70s, so we're bouncing back to the 60s, baby. Our main characters will all be Aurors, people who hunt dark wizards or wizard killers, and the killer will be a wizard who commits a series of crimes, murdering people in bunches before vanishing for several years, only to reappear later. This movie is set around the reappearance of the killer for his third killing spree. The killer leaves cryptic runes on the walls and kills people in very brutal and horrible ways. And now I should go ahead and mention that while Harry Potter does have darker themes and some darker moments in the series, it tends to be on the more lighthearted side. Now, I want to keep the whimsy in my script, but I am going darker. So this is going to be hard PG-13 or an R. I'm not sure quite where it'll fall until I write the whole script out, but it's somewhere in that ballpark. There's just going to be quite a bit of violence. We're going to see some of the darker sides of the Wizarding World that are hinted at in the original novels and movies, but are never quite delved into. And I think that will make for something very interesting. So let's go ahead and introduce our characters. Our first character is named Reed Hawthorne, and Reed is a Auror. He has been working this beat for about 6 years. His first case, the first case he ever took, was with his previous mentor, a man named Wallace Knotwood, who is also a character that is relevant. Now, Reed is obsessed with understanding the mind of a dark wizard. He wants to know why they do what they do. He wants to understand how they tick, something like the guys in Mindhunter. He's trying to figure out what their deal is. And of course, when the killings start back up, he's assigned to the case as he worked previously when the killings originally started. He has interviewed wizards and dark wizards in Azkaban, as well as dark wizards who are not in prison, and thinks he understands them pretty well. He has a pretty gritty and nihilistic look at the world and doesn't think magic is necessarily something that is for the betterment of humanity or wizard kind. He's seen the dark things it can do, and he's seen the dark side, which is why the next character is a contrast to him. Elsie Goldfinch is a fresh out of Hogwarts student who has been hired by the Aurors and the Ministry of Magic. She has been assigned to Reed as his partner, assistant, whatever you want to call it, and has now been assigned to a case. She is, unlike him in many ways, super optimistic, hopeful, thinks that her job can allow her to make the world a better place, and she's thrown right into the deep end in a horrific case as her first look into the world of dark wizards. She is out of her depth and has been assigned to someone who has a very jaded look at the world. Whose ideology will prevail as the script goes on? Perhaps this is a theme. Could we be seeing a theme? Maybe so. Our next character is Wallace Knotwood, the aforementioned previous Auror. He is currently in Azkaban prison for killing a suspect with an unforgivable curse. He murdered someone who he thought was the killer 6 years ago. Apparently he's wrong, because the killer has resurfaced, and landed himself in Azkaban prison. The killer's previous final victim was his wife, the wife of the man investigating the case, as a way to torment his investigators. And he's out for blood. He is drawn into the case when the killer mentions him by name at a crime scene. And he is freed from Azkaban to join the team because he is the leading expert on this particular killer, having been involved with all the previous cases of this person's killings. We have a couple other characters I'll mention briefly. There is the Minister of Magic. I have to find out who it was at the time, but I have a character lined up for him, so regardless of what's in the lore, I'm ignoring it. To hell with it. I have a character in mind for this guy, but I'll make sure I get the name right. If it's on Pottermore, if not, I'll come up with some dumb shit like Aslandius, Portholgonus, wizardy name. Maybe his last name is Quandingle, I don't know. Maybe the ancestors of the infamous wizard Bjorn Quandingle appear somewhere in the script. Who could say? Who could say? Another character we have is Barnabas Hickman. He is an expert on ancient runes and runecraft, as well as a wizard archaeologist, and he is drawn into the case as he is an old friend of Wallace Notwood, the man who has been in Azkaban. The killer leaves behind a series of cryptic runes at the crime scene, and so the rune expert is called upon to help try to solve the riddles left on the walls, something like a cryptographer for wizards. And that's really it. We have a bunch of other characters, one of which is the killer. I won't really get into that here, because that, would sort of defeat the purpose. You'll be introduced to them. These are our main players. As I said, this movie is dark, it's interesting, it has quite a bit of twists and turns, and also isn't completely lapsed in the whimsy. It is globe-trotting adventure. We go to several different places on the globe and take a darker spin on the Harry Potter universe. I'm really proud of this script. I've written out the outline and several of the sort of events that are going to happen in it. It's really good. I would say, I know I say this a lot, this is probably my most interesting script. It's very different than anything I've written before. It's a detective story. This is a very interesting one. I enjoyed writing it. So keep out for the first part coming out soon. I've got the final act of Thunderbolts coming out before then, so I won't start a new project until I finish my previous one. Alright, thank you all for watching. Our next goal is 500 subs, and I will release my cringy college scripts that I wrote, as promised. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment below telling me what you think is going to happen and if this interests you. And if you're new to the channel, hello, welcome. I write scripts. Bye.